we go. What's going on, guys? This is Gene Jensen. It's time for another Friday Night Live. I got my bud here, Jordan, my son. Come forward just a little bit, Jordan. Get out of that bright light. There we go. That way he's not glowing so much. We'll let some folks jump on here real quick. I'm going to grab my drink. Jordan's got me all thirsty. I'm going to snuggle up to this iPad and do a little Q&A. All right, you guys jump on, say hi. What's going on? Oh, I'm thirsty. I've been out in the garden. So, what's up, Jacob English and Tyler? Carson, what's going on, man? Mr. Howard, Ben? Ben tried to be first. Oh, well. Tom Murray, what's going on? Oh, man, it's good to see everybody on here tonight. I just got done watching Westbrook Wednesday on Friday night. Scott's trying to snipe my live night. But Westbrook Wednesday on Facebook had a little bit of issues on Wednesday, so they moved them to Friday. So Nick O'Connor, thanks, man. I'm glad I can help you, dude. Man, oh man, we've had a good week. Me and Jordan have. That's why I got Jordan on here. Jordan's actually in the middle of fishing his first kayak tournament.
Broke 100 inches.
And he broke 100 inches today. It's a month-long tournament. It's called the KBF Challenges, and it's the state of Georgia, and it's a month-long. And these state challenges are all over the country. So, but Austin, I'm going to answer questions here just a little bit, man. So hang on to that one. So somebody said beer belly. I don't drink beer though, man. I just like food. That's my problem. Actually, I always gain weight during this time of the year because I travel so much, and everybody wants to feed me.
Sorry guys, I'm drinking too much, you know.
Yeah, Jordan don't drink neither. Oh man, but yeah, it's I did a really cool video today. I didn't finish. Well, I got about 90% of the stuff that I wanted in the video, so I'm going to go ahead and edit that one and upload it. But it's all about finding fish on a fish finder and that kind of stuff. So I'm starting my fish finder videos. I'm excited about that. Jordan caught a nice big fish today. It's on the thumbnail from this video.
First cast.
First cast of the day, and it's the only fish he caught all day. So, yeah. But he hit 100 inches today in that tournament. How many do I have?
You're 105.5.
I have 105.5, and he's got 100.75 for almost 101 inches. So, we've been catching some good ones. The day before the tournament started, I caught a 25.5. Crazy, sick how big that fish was. So I'm hoping he bites before the end of the month. But all right, so business. 13 Fishing just announced that we're coming out with some soft plastics, and the sneak peeks are on their Instagram page. Some of them are sick, dude. I've got one that I've been using that I really had a lot to do with, which is a little split tail swimming worm. With a ton of action. It's sick. They got a little swim bait that does the same thing. It's pretty good. A lot of different soft plastics, and I'm going to be showing you those on Instagram over the next few weeks. I meant to do some today, but I forgot because it got windy and we got hungry, so we came home from the lake. But all right, let's jump into some questions. Also, guys, Anglr button. If you guys want to track your catches and stuff while you're out. The Anglr app is getting better and better every single day. Okay, Patrick West, or every single update. Hey, Fluke, quick question. How to store your fish net on your bass boat? I want mine off the floor, not opposed to drilling a hole. Please advise. Woo! I always find a place, I don't know what kind of boat you have, but I always try to find a place that's tucked in next to the seats, that it stays there and it stays out of the way. It all depends on the type of boat you have. I don't like storing it on the floor, because what happens is other things end up on the floor, and you go down to grab your net and things get snagged in it and you're shaking stuff off, you're dropping stuff in the water. It's just a mess. I like to have mine up out of the way, so just find a spot. That little leverage landing net that I use that has the long extension, or the extension off the back of it, it would be great, except it doesn't have a long handle. They make one, you guys have seen it in my bass boat, that's real long, and it's made for bass boats, but I don't remember it having the extension. I don't remember it does or doesn't. So pretty cool. Stefan, what's going on, man? What baits are relevant for Clarksville fishing tomorrow? It's June. Let me see. It should be deep diving crankbaits. They usually are out in about 12 to 16 foot of water this time of the year. I don't know what the water clarity is though. And I drag a worm. It's basically what we're doing. Texas rig. My favorite colors are Tequila Sunrise. Put it on a 1/2 ounce weight Texas rig, and drag a Carolina rig with a Green Pumpkin Magic worm on it, and hit those humps that are out offshore, and the drops, but they should be out on the humps by now. And if the humps have grass on it, even better, but if not, still make a few casts, because if there's rock or anything on there, they'll be there. So somebody said, what's up with Jordan's flat bill? Jordan is a flat bill dude. So yeah.
He's not wearing it sideways.
Yeah, he ain't wearing it stupid. So what do I say about hats, Jordan? This is normal.
Yeah.
This can be cool, and all of this is stupid. It all makes you look stupid, ain't that right? Let's see. Best plastic for Tokyo rig. Dude, I fish anything on that thing. It just depends on the time of the year. I like creature baits in the spring. I would throw worms this time of year, and then creature baits later in the fall. So, John Marler, one of the bass on Clark Seal, they should be on humps. An offshore structure, long points. Do you know how to do a master reset on a Dragonfly 4 Pro? I don't have a Dragon. I haven't had a Dragonfly since they were brand spanking new. What do you think the best bait is right now? All depends on where you're at, dude, really. My confidence baits this time of the year are crankbaits, deep diving crankbaits, top water, frogs, worms.
Big worms.
Yep, and then later on in the summer I'll throw some buzz baits, but still just a hair too early. Let's see, I'm having a hard time producing fish this time of year. Any tips? Slow way down, really. That's kind of what Jordan has learned this week with fishing for big bass. We found some spots on our little lake down the road, or little lakes down the road.
Yep.
We found the pattern, and it's a big fish pattern. I've caught some, an 8, 7, 5s, and 6s. Jordan's caught several 5s, and we'd all done it by slowing way down. That's what's nice about a kayak, is you can anchor it down and you're forced to stay right there, and you just drag that stinking whatever, drag a worm or whatever else.
We haven't caught a fish under 3.5 pounds.
Yeah, we've caught probably 30 fish and not a single one of them under 3.5 pounds. Let's see. How do you know when a soft bait is too old and you need to toss it? When it will no longer go on the hook. I'll even bite bite a 1/2 inch off and keep putting the hook on. If that worm is working, put the hook on and just keep making it shorter and shorter. So, but I don't toss it in the water. I just toss it in the bottom of the boat, and I throw it in the trash when I get home, or there's a couple of companies that recycle them. John Marlin, Striper, and Spot. Let's see. Oh, somebody's answering John. Thanks, man. Thanks, Daryl. Appreciate it. Fred Stewart from Rome, Georgia. Hi, from Rome, Georgia. Jordan goes to Rome High. Other than top water, what would you recommend for a very heavy vegetation pond?
Frog.
Yep, that's top water. What else? Gotta think quick. That's what this is all about. Think quick.
A jig. Punching.
Punch bait would be one thing. If there's room up underneath, if it's like matted out grass and everything under it's dead, I use a punch bait. If it's submerged just a little bit, I like just swimming a fluke over top of it, or a floating worm, or even just a trick worm, a weightless trick worm.
Yeah,
works
I
really
like
good too.
Swimming a pink worm on top water.
Does anyone make a shaky head with EWG hook and screw lock bait holder? Think EWG would improve hookup ratio. Actually, the screw lock will improve your hookup ratio a lot. Have more effect on the hookup ratio than a EWG would. And actually, the one I like a lot that's kind of new to me is the Missile Baits one, and I can't remember what the name of it is. I've got a bunch of them. I bought a ton of them this year because they've been really, really good. I actually caught so many fish on one, the head of it started spinning on the hook. It's crazy. Does anyone already read that one? Is my dog back to normal?
Mostly.
Yeah, he's pretty much back to
He's
normal.
better.
Yeah, he's still kind of a little bit in a funk, but he gets up and runs around. He still chases the deer and the rabbits in the yard, so he's good. Thanks for asking. Your favorite aftermarket ad to your Bonafide? My Torqeedo, because I'm lazy. My Torqeedo motor. I'd have to say between the Torqeedo and the Power Pole, those are the two best ones. Of course, those are the high dollar ones. My favorite thing is my Ninja Net.
Yeah.
So I've been getting a lot of questions about my Ninja Net and or the leverage landing net that I keep behind me on my kayak. So you guys are going to see a video about that I what did I film it 2 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 days ago. Sent it to my editor, so that'll be coming up this next week. So I get tons. Oops,
What was that?
that was my drink.
Oh, no.
Sorry, it was empty. So, what's your thoughts about putting a skirt on a finesse worm to give it more action? Shoot, why not? I use it on a punch rig. I use a little punch skirt, and I'll put like whatever I'm flipping with it. So, yeah, that works. What's Jordan's confidence lure?
Chatterbait.
Chatterbait, thunder
Or-
chicken.
Or a square bill.
Yep.
What's you and Jordan's favorite?
Love your videos, but we have to do something with that Georgia hat. Go Gators.
Nope.
Any tips on bank fishing at a lake with lots of people and traffic? Go small, go finessey, and slow way down.
Wacky rig.
Wacky rig. Yep. So, do you fish the Chattahoochee? What are your thoughts on trout fishing? I grew up trout fishing, never the Chattahoochee. It was always the smaller creeks up in North Georgia.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends that fish the Chattahoochee for like shoal bass and largemouth and that kind of stuff. So, Stephen, yes, it's called the rhino head. Is the shaky head I'm thinking about? Good. Is that? No, I thought the rhino head was made by. I might be wrong. I thought it was made by somebody else. Jordan's gonna look it up. What kind of hook do you usually use on your punch baits? I got a couple of them. There's a new one out by Gamakatsu that's really hard to find that I've been using. But any serious punch hook, dang it, which one do I use? The Greg Hackney hook from Strike King is a really, really good one, but you got to have a beefy rod to be able to set that hook. So, yeah, who's that made by? Picasso?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, the Rhino Head's made by Picasso. That's another really good one. So, yeah, it's the Warlock Shaky Head by Missile Baits. I fish a lot of ponds where I live in Phoenix, Arizona. What's the best way to pattern the bass in these ponds? Most of them offer no cover and are average 10 to 12 to 15 feet deep. Actually, I'm going to give you a tip using the Anglr button, but you can do this on a piece of paper because this is what I used to do before all of the technology that we have now. Draw yourself a map or use the Anglr button, but as you catch fish, mark where on that map that you catch those fish and go fishing a lot. And you'll find that there's certain key areas of that lake that hold fish most of the time during that season. And do a spring, summer, fall, winter, however when you want to fish, but just kind of separate them to what time of the year, and you'll become more and more successful on that body of water. So that's exactly what I would do, and that's how I'd go about. It'll help you tremendously, man. I swear. Yeah, he needs a Clemson hat. Yes, I do. I need a Clemson hat because I keep catching these monster fish and getting slime all over my hands, and I need something to wipe my hands on. That Clemson hat would be great. How to fish a chatterbait. I've got a really good video on how to fish a chatterbait. What?
Hold up on that for you to see questions and back up because your face is pretty close.
Yeah, but I need to be pretty close so I can thumb through the questions. Ken Burke says, keep your old man straight, Jordan. How do you target these post-spawn bass when they're suspending above the thermocline? That's kind of what we've been dealing with. Suspending bass, I usually throw a spinnerbait or a crankbait or some type of a floating or a soft plastic jerkbait like a fluke. But I usually, what I'll do is if they're suspended off of a point, it means they're inactive. They're not feeding. and I'll throw a crankbait that dives down to the depth of the thermocline, and I'll throw it out well past wherever I think that they're suspended, and I'm sitting in shallow water, and I'm throwing out and I'm cranking, and I'm throwing out and I'm cranking. I'll make 100 casts. I'll make 200 casts. And the goal is to bring it through that school of fish. And I'll tell you, this really does work. As soon as you'll start drawing that school of fish closer and closer and closer to you. And when they hit the bottom, okay, when the depth of the thermocline hits the bottom, when those fish get right there, they will start feeding. May not be a big feed, but they'll start feeding and you'll catch a couple. So just drag that school to the bank or to the bottom and you'll catch them. So, man, that was a bunch of questions I missed. I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on fishing Chester Frost Park in Tennessee?
I think I fished there once.
I put in there all the time. It's great, man. If you're gonna kayak fish or anything, there's always fish in Chester Frost. Yep.
Yeah.
What kind of trailer on a chatterbait? A fluke, a blade minnow, and then yeah, Z-Man's got another one called I can't remember what it's called, but it's made for a chatterbait. David Fields, thanks for the $20, man. I appreciate you. Do you casting or spinning rod with a shaky head? Not a fan of the fairy wand. I get longer casts out of a casting rod. Take your fairy wand, take a medium action fairy wand, put 20-pound braid on there with a fluorocarbon leader and see how far you can cast it. Anything less than 1/4 inch, I'm throwing on a spinning rod. Anything, or 1/4 inch, 1/4 ounce. Anything 1/4 ounce or heavier, I'm gonna throw it on a bait caster, a medium action bait caster. So, let's see. What's your opinion on the Berkley crankbaits? Specifically the Dredger Deep Diver. I have never used them, so.
I think I have one here actually.
Let's see.
Yeah.
My wife's driving right now. One of my kids must be responding on my wife's phone.
Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, Jordan's got one, but he hadn't used it yet.
I want it from a parent.
Still in the package. So, let's see. Let me get down here. I just bought a jackhammer green and caught a 5-pound largemouth and load. That's awesome, man. Mean Gene, when your son gonna do a versus battle with Scott and Hillary Martin? That'd be pretty cool.
That's a good idea.
Zach Outdoors. I caught my PB bass on a chatterbait and have the release on my YouTube channel. That's awesome, man. Just bought my first Concept Z reel. What's your thoughts on the reel and when's the Fluke and Mikey video happening? Dude, I just watched one of his videos when he did about JJ's Magic a few days ago. But I really need to hit him up. My wife's having surgery next week, and so she's going to be down and out for a little while. So after next week, I'm not going to be able to do much. So we'll have to do it later on in the summer. Hope maybe even the fall. So just bought just read that one. You ever use 2-piece rods? Not if I can help it. Just too many issues with them. 13 used to make some really good ones, and I've got a couple of them that they custom made for me because I needed a pack rod. But I'm not a fan. What set up do you like to throw 100% fluoro, and for what baits? I throw 100% fluoro according to the water clarity. If I'm fishing really clear water, I'm going to always have 100% fluoro unless it's on the spinning rod. Then I'll just have a really long leader. And then that's about it, man. It just depends on water clarity, and it also depends on whether I really want to take it off and put braid on. You know, if I already have it on and I fish in muddy water, I'm just going to fish it. Daryl McDaniel, thanks for the $5, man. You're awesome. I really appreciate it. Anthony, hi, sir. Love the content. Is the higher the gear ratio, the better, or nah? No, it's the higher the gear ratio, the faster you can retrieve that bait is what it is. I don't like a 4-3 to 1. I don't even like a 5, what do I call it? A 5-speed reel, 5-3 to 1. I like 6, 7, and 8. 8's for bottom baits and baits that I've got to get back to me really quick and make another cast, and then 7's for crankbaits mostly, and then deep dive crankbaits I go to 6's. So that's usually what it is. I've got a bunch of videos on that kind of stuff. You should do a camping and fishing video. That's what I've been thinking about. Really got to do. We're gonna do an overnight. I did that overnight kayak fishing video. I'm gonna do another one though.
Yeah, we need to do one down on Russian Creek.
Friends don't let friends use ugly reels. I don't know what you're talking about. Are you going to do East Coast run this year? No, I'm not. Not this year. A lot of stuff going on. You can throw a weightless Senko on a baitcaster. Yes, you can. Hey, Fluke, do you know if anyone makes anything to coat your line guides? My line keeps fraying using the Q-tip method and can't find which one is broken. Really? Usually when that happens, it's the tip of your rod, and there might be a little nick in it on the very tip of the in the guide, or it may just be where the little ring, the little ceramic ring, meets up with the metal that holds it together. So take a look at all of that. So if not, just replace the guide. Let's see. Have Jordan run the review channel. Jordan's going to start his own channel here shortly. He took a really good editing class in high school. So. Hey man, saw you last weekend at Rocky Mountain. If you don't mind sharing, what were you fishing with out in the deep water? I never have luck in deep water. What were we fishing with?
Giant worms.
Big worms. Yep, I'm throwing a 14-inch worm right now on a Texas rig and catching fish. So this time of the year, I go for big worms.
Yep, just dragging on the rock. It's like shallow rock.
Yep. JJ's Magic eats Elastec. Yes, it is. In that case, it is magic. It makes Elastec disappear. Yeah, I don't mix Z-Man and JJ's. Aiden, I'm doing pretty good. Laura V, what colors are good in stained water? This is what I do. If I hold the bait up to the light and the light shines through it, if the sun shines through it, it's not good for stained water. It's good for clear water. Anything that I hold up and the light doesn't shine through, I'm using it stained to dirty water. So, what about braid on heavy shaking head? I don't. Nope. Ever fished Tim's Ford in Tennessee? I have not. First time here. Thanks, Jeff. Small island lake in Ohio. Oh, inland lake in Ohio. Sorry. Mucky from and high level from flooding. Okay. Where will they be and what to use? They're going to be shallow on the bank if the water is still rising or if it's leveled out. If the water is falling, they're going to pull out to the outside of the shallow cover or to the next available cover. And pretty much what I would use, especially in Ohio, is I would use soft plastics and I would use something like a chatterbait or a lipless crankbait. What's the advantage of tying lures online versus using a swivel? A swivel is something that, a swivel, when I say swivel, I think barrel swivel. When if a snap swivel and that kind of stuff, it's just something else to fail. Especially if it gets hung into something or anything like that. I have more luck without one than I do with one. Plus, it adds weight to the front of your lure and it can mess up the action of a crankbait. It can mix up your action of a spinnerbait, whatever. So, Aiden, who's the kid? This is my son, Jordan. So, it's the name of my other channel. I haven't posted a video on that channel in about a year and a half, but it's my review channel. So I kind of shut that thing down. Every time I do a review, it's like I just started talking about politics. And everybody freaking blasts me and I lose subscribers and all kinds of other stuff because they think I'm lying. So I just stopped messing with it. Death Spader, what's going on, man? This is your first time. Anybody else this is their first time on my stream? If you haven't hit the subscribe button, be sure you subscribe to my channel. Jeff Bennett, they're shallow. Okay, thanks, man. Dr. Funk. Oh, cool. Thanks for answering that question. I can tie FG and Alberta knots all day, but why can I do an improve? What can I do to improve my experience with braid, specifically on a spinning reel? I don't know what kind of issues you're having with it. Automatically, the first thing I think of is just fish it a lot. What's my favorite color? Gary Yamamoto Cinco, black and blue, and green pumpkin. The only ones I own.
Mine's the green pumpkin with the sartreuse tail.
Well, I dip mine in JJ, so I get chartreuse tail. If it's a spinning reel, check the spool edges where the line peels off. That's good, Big Red. I didn't even think about that. It can get dinged up and cut your line. So somebody just dropped me 20. Hold on. Ken Burke, man, thanks for the 20 spot. I really appreciate it, man. Y'all are awesome. Holy crap. I have conquered the FG knot, Rod Royal. It's beautiful to look at. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. What booth you going to be hanging out at ICAST? I just got my assignment for the Seaguar booth. I'll be there at noon on Thursday. No, 3 on Thursday and noon on Friday. I'm going to be in meetings on Wednesday, and then Scott's got my schedule for all the rest of the time. Literally this year, I've got to have a handler. I've got Scott that's going to be basically dragging me around to all of my meetings and all the booths and everything else. So I remember the first year I ever went to ICAST was about 12 years ago, and I watched Bill Nance have a handler that drug him around from spot to spot. So maybe I'm feeling a little bit special this year.
Okay.
It's okay, Dad. Oh, let's see. Do you have any pointers on landing fish in a kayak? I seem to always lose 34% as soon as I get them close. Drag, tension, issues, net.
Ninja
Biggest thing I do is I play them out a little bit better, especially if they're big ones. I let them kind of wear themselves down, but leave about a rod and a quarter out of line. Jordan's really bad at not doing this, and he'll be dragging the rod in and have not enough line out, and you basically just lift up and put that rod behind your head with your net in your hand, and you net the fish. I rarely ever land a fish in a kayak without a net. And you guys need to go to Chad Hoover's channel and watch the video he did when him and his cameraman covered me at the Gunnersville tournament a few weeks ago. I think he launched it 4 or 5 days ago. The net skills are mad. I mean, I love the angles. Where I'm actually going to make another video that's all about me netting a stinking fish with my Ninja net.
You put a decal on it that says Ninja net.
Yep. What's my favorite swim bait? Hard body swim bait. My favorite one is the bull shad, the Mike Buca bull shad. And then soft body swim bait. There's a new one coming out from 13 that's got a different action than a lot of swim baits I've seen. You'll have to look at it. But anyway, I'm pretty excited about that. Gene, I hope that's a Braves hat. Better not be a bad one. It is a Braves hat. My niece works over at the Rome Braves Stadium, and she bought it for him for his birthday. So, let's see. Now, what pound braid do you recommend for a medium heavy and a medium spinning rod? Medium spinning rod, I use 20 or 30 pound, and 30 to 40 pound with a medium bait caster. So.
Big Red, that was my other brother Jake. He was building a go-kart.
Yeah, Jake was building a go-kart. Oops.
He's smart like that.
Yeah.
That stuff.
Yeah. What's he building now?
He's building a mini bike, and then.
Yeah, he's fixing up a mini bike.
Then he's making a Barbie scooter. He's putting a bill.
Yeah, he took a Barbie scooter and he's gonna put a motor on it. So it's pretty cool.
And then he's fixing up.
Caleb McCree, man, thanks for the $10, dude. That's freaking awesome. First time I've been able to tune in for Friday Night Live in a while. Moved up to New Hampshire. And have been slaying them in these early summer months. I bet you have, man. I love it up that way because the water stays cooler longer. Here, our water goes from like really good temperatures to 100,000 degrees in about a week. So I'm actually already fishing midsummer patterns right now. So, Leyland Yarborough, hey, I'm trying to catch my first bass this summer from the banks in California. What should I throw?
Never.
Ned rig. Every time somebody says I'm trying to catch my first fish, I think finesse. So small worms on like a Ned rig or a shaky head or that kind of stuff. Look at my drop shot. Drop shot video. Wacky rigs. Yeah, just finesse stuff is what you're looking at. I got a really good video about finesse fishing somewhere. Man, I've been doing this a long time. I'll be at ICAST. Let's go eat dinner one night. Gotta cook for the wife. Oh, gotta go cook for wife. Kevin, I will try, dude. You know me, my schedule's crazy. We might be able to grab like a lunch in ICAST. I think all of my dinners are already taken up. Let's see. Aaron said, came back from my favorite live. That's awesome, man. Fluke. So I've been listening. This is Corey's Outdoors Experience. Been listening to the pros about going to fish shallow grass for summer bass, and I've fished several creeks with grass, but haven't had any bites except for pickerel. Problem. This time of the year, you need to move closer to the main lake. If you're back in the backs of the creeks, you're going to catch small bass. If you go way to the backs of the creek, you might find some bigger bass. But the bass have probably moved further out towards the main lake. And the closer you get to the main lake, you'll get into more and more largemouth. Bass Open next weekend up north. It's on soon. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I hate that you guys got seasons, but I guess you do. $10 for Jordan's chatterbaits. Depth Spader says, I still like monofilament tied directly to fluorocarbon leader, which is tied directly to my choice of lure. I never thought about that. I might have to give that a try. Mono still stretches way too much. Every time I set the hook on one now, since I haven't used it in so long, I feel like I'm fishing with a bungee cord. Let's see, would you use a prop rivet trick to rebait big soft plastics? My hook slot is shot today after a 4-pounder. That's not a bad idea. I haven't thought about that, but yeah, you might want to do that. So, what do I do besides fishing? I garden. I raise my kids. I spend time with my wife. And that's about it. Work on my garden and mow my lawn. I have 6.5 acres that I mow, so it takes about 8 hours for me to mow it. So that's what I do once a week for my therapy, as they call it. What kind of glide baits are good, and any particular season they work best? I use a lot of jerk baits, but I'm hearing that glide baits are coming on. Really, glide baits would be good. I like them in spring, I like them in early summer, and I like them in fall. When it gets too hot down here in the south, I don't use them much, but further up north, I'd use them all summer long. Water temperature stays in the 70s. I would definitely use them all summer long. So, Nick O'Connor says, I'm shore fishing now, but just ordered a kayak. My lake, there isn't much grass cover or inlets, outlets. Any tips? I also run into a lot of rock bass from the shore. Any tips to avoid them? I don't know about any tips to avoid them except for fish something that they can't get their mouth around. But I'd really have to look at your lake. This time of the year, I'm looking for deeper cover, deeper stuff. If it's got any grass, it's going to have fish in it. If it doesn't have any grass, look for rock piles, look for points, trees, brush, whatever is different than just the rest of the lake. You'll know what I'm talking about when you start doing it. So, Adam Westbrook from Ball Ground, Georgia. Man, I haven't been to Ball Ground in years. That's like, only has 2 red lights, right? 2 red lights and a stop sign. Let's see. Def Spader, live in North Ontario, right by Lady Evelyn Lake. If you ever get the chance, go. It's got amazing fishing. That's awesome, man. Chris Morris, have you ever used the old carrot sticks rods? The original ones, yes. I've actually got a very good friend that's been sponsored by them since the beginning, and he works really, really hard with them. Wait a minute, I think he quit them recently. He might not have. I don't know, but anyway. So yeah, the old carrot sticks. The only one I ever bought was after they made the change in how they make them, and I broke it on a hook set, and it was their heaviest rod that they make. I was fishing a jig, so. Look at that cool picture right there.
It's pretty cool.
That NRS had made for me. It's pretty neat. But anyway, ooh, I just got cricket. Look at that. Have you ever got in trouble for going on someone's property to fish? No, because I always ask permission.
Yep.
So, matter of fact, Jordan, we got permission to fish a really nice lake down south of town.
What?
You fished there already.
Which one? Oh, yeah, that one. Let's say.
haven't fished it yet.
It's pretty
It's
good.
a little private lake, so we might do a whole bunch of bait fishing videos. You fish Pickwick Lake? Not in a few years. I absolutely love that lake. So, what's on your hat, Aaron Nichols? This is called a angler bullseye, and it's basically a way that I track my fish catches. It runs off of an app. The app is free. The bullseye is like $30. This is just more for convenience. Catch a fish, hit a button, it saves weather, GPS coordinates. You can take a picture. You can keep track of your lures and everything else, and it helps you keep a database of your fish catches. So it's not bad, man. It's a really, really good app, and it's a great company. They're still in the process of developing more and more things for it, and they are great, man. It's the first company I've ever heard of that they beg you to tell them what's wrong with their app. So if you have issues with it, just let them know. Let's see. I'm retired now. I can't figure out how I ever had time for work. Chuck, I was a good buddy of mine. We call him Caveman. He's the first one to ever tell me, once you retire, don't ever tell anybody you're retired or they'll find you something to do. So, John Bolton, have you tried that blue bullworm that Alex Rudd uses? He calls it the big blue anaconda. No, but I'm going to ask him about that one. I promise you. Are you going to make a weight bait video after all the success it had in MLF this week? I didn't even pay attention to MLF this week. We've been out of...
I had a little bit of attention.
Yeah, we've had very little cell service while we've been out fishing, so... But, it might not be a bad idea. I'll have to look and see what they were using and stuff, but...
Go to the pond and use it.
Yeah.
I know that weight bait's not fun.
How long does the shad spawn typically last? Does it ever end? Dude, this is the longest I've ever seen one last. We've got a little bit of shad spawn going on here, but it starts at 70 degrees and it usually goes to 80, or somewhere around there. That's water temperature for you guys who didn't know. Is it possible to fish deeper water without a fish finder in a kayak? I find myself only fishing the shoreline. Dude, it's possible, but it's very difficult. That's probably one of the most important tools on any of my boats, whether it be my Alumacraft bass boat or my kayak, is my fish finder this time of the year. I mean, I've got a brand new Alumacraft and it doesn't have its fish finders on it yet, and that's why I haven't taken it out on the water. That's how important it is. So all you need to do... All I need is a big cutout of me in the background. Is your son's phone case a torn up goat case that used to stick on wall?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Sorry, Mr. Beavers.
Sorry, Mr. Beavers, that's correct. When I was 15 years old in an ABA tournament, I caught a 17-pound on 4-pound mono green Maxima line, Carolina rigging 4-inch worm, 90 feet of water in Lake. I don't believe you. No. Actually, I believe you because I didn't read where you said Lake Castaic, and I believe you caught it that deep. Oh man, when do you decide between fishing a fluke or a Cinco? It's pretty simple. I fish flukes, and he fishes Cincos.
Master? Cinco master.
I don't like fishing Cincos, but usually I fish a fluke. I'll fish a fluke before I fish anything. It's all about confidence, really. Chuck, thanks for the $5, man. Let's see. Hate the kicked out videos. Are people doing kicked out videos? Got caught and got kicked out? See, here in the South, you don't get kicked out, you get shot at. Literally, somebody will take a shotgun and pellet your butt.
Yeah.
So, no, we don't do that around here. So, what age do you start using a bait caster?
10.
10? Yeah, I started using a bait caster when I was 27.
John David started using it when he was like 6.
6, yeah, and Juliana's ready to learn too, and she's 9, but I should have taught her a long time ago. If you were in a tournament and hadn't caught a fish in 3 hours, what baits would be in your emergency box?
Ned rig.
Ned rig, shaky head.
Depends what, like, the trying to do.
Yeah, it depends on the cover.
Yeah.
But those would be the two that I would go to first. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it, man. Cooster River King, tips on fishing ledges. Dude, I've got a great video. It's an old video, and I want to do another one this year, but I don't know if I'll get up there in time. But on how to fish ledges and the different types of ledges you're looking for, and I've learned a lot since then. So yes, this summer I'm gonna put that on my list of things I need to do, because it would be great. I've learned a ton more about ledge fishing since that video. What are your favorite brands of fishing line, Gene? I have always been a believer in Seaguar. Now I'm sponsored by Seaguar now, but I've been using Seaguar since 2006, I believe. Yeah, since 2006 when I caught that 9.98 out of the grass with 8-pound test fluorocarbon. It was right after I bought my first spool of Seaguar, so I'm a huge believer in it. Right now I use Seaguar BrazeX and I use a Seaguar Smackdown. Are the two lines that I use. Smackdown being the braid, and BrazeX being the fluorocarbon. So, Ken Burke thinking about buying a Bonafide tomorrow. Talk me out of it. I can't.
Nope.
I love mine.
I just got one for my birthday.
Yep.
I just rigged it up. It's amazing.
Yep.
I love it.
Gene uses Seaguar. Am I correct? Yes, I am. Yes, you are. One of my friends got shot and left bleeding fishing on someone's lake land. Almost died. I believe it.
That's right.
I really do. Let's see. Do you go straight to summer patterns after the shad spawn, or do you continue to throw shad baits and target shad spawn areas? I will for about a week. But typically, as soon as I see a drastic decrease in the amount of shad shallow, I haul butt out to the points and out to the humps and drops and things like that. Early in the morning, I'll stay up shallow just like all summer long, but it's not because of the shad bite. I'll still throw shad patterns and I'll throw bluegill patterns. I'm not really picky about matching the hatch. You know, right now we're throwing pink worms. You know, it's one of those things you just get out there and go fishing and fish what you got confidence in. But yeah, right now we're offshore.
Yep.
So, but there is a shad spawn early in the morning, and your first cast this morning, you caught one in 2 foot of water. So, and it was a 21 and a half? 21 and 3/4 inch, almost a 22-inch bass. So, let's see. I got a juicy lake to try on a assisted living land. Gonna try to have some elders to catch some fish for fun. That would be fun, man. Your FG Knot helped me out. Keep it up, man. That's awesome, man. That is a great knot. It's hard to tie, but it's a great knot. What's your biggest bass? 10 pounds, 12 ounces. And I got one that's 10.4 and one that's 9.98. That's my 3 biggest ones. And then I caught an 8.5, so an 8-pound, 8-ounce bass here just recently.
I caught one 6.5. That's my PB.
Yeah.
Out of a pond that I haven't caught one over a pound out of.
What do you do when you see fish on the sonar? Drop down on them or turn around and cast? It depends on how deep in the water clarity. If I'm fishing really clear water, it'll be 20 feet and I won't drop down on them. I'll pass them and I'll come back 10, 15, 20 minutes later. But most lakes at 10 feet. If I pass them over and it's 10 feet or shallower, I leave and I mark it on my GPS and I come back in 15, 20 minutes and make a cast on them. If they're deeper than 10 to 12 feet, I'll drop on them. So in a kayak, it's even shallower because a kayak doesn't really spook them as much as a bass boat does. So, who's ripping on you?
Huh? No, I was just looking at something.
Oh. Are you throwing more deep diving crankbaits this time of year? I am on certain lakes. Are you still fishing shallow waters? Watching from Cali. Depends on the lake and depends on the depth of the fish and what kind of cover they're on. But if they're offshore this kind of time of the year, I'm gonna have my deep diving crankbaits with me. As soon as I get my boat rigged up, this is the worst time of the year to get a boat. I'm telling you, my rigger is three weeks behind. or 3 weeks from getting me out. He's not behind. He's just got a ton of work. And so my boat's sitting out there under a cover just waiting to be rigged up so I can take it out and start fishing out of it. So, but man, these little lakes with this kayak has been a whole lot of fun. Scott Butcher says, Jordan, what's your best advice for a guy who has all the tools but still can't catch a fish? Hashtag I may know a guy. Keep taking pictures.
You just can't just stop.
Don't quit your day job. How long before your son can take you in arm wrestling?
Just kidding.
Not anytime soon. I hear lots of people say they don't use the FG knot because it is too hard to tie, but honestly, if you just practice a few times, it is so quick and easy. Don't make excuses, just practice. Chuck, I love it, man. That's what I tell people. I mean, at first it took me 3 to 4 minutes to tie one. Now I'm at about 40 seconds and I can get one tied up and back in the water. And then that knot, unless something catastrophic happens, that knot will last me for days. So, Josh, man, thanks for the $5. Hey, Gene, thanks for all the info and inspiration over the years. I started following you way back when you just used to do this on the side and a half. That's awesome, man. Thanks, Josh. I appreciate you, bro. My son wanted to tell you he got his first bass fishing trophy from the kids tournament on Lanier last Saturday. That's awesome, man. Be sure you tell him thanks for me, or congratulations for me. I live in Bama and I go fishing every day, and some days we don't even get bites. What are some tips for fishing near a dam and to help get bites? Yeah, when the fishing's tough, I always go small and slow down is what I do. And if you think you're going too slow, slow down more. Because typically you're going still fishing too fast. I mean, I crawl baits and it'll be 5 minutes per cast. But that's typically what I do. What's your opinion on the uni knot for a leader? I don't use one. And the biggest reason is as that line or as that knot is going in and out of the guides, it gets beat up pretty bad, and that fluorocarbon gets more and more damaged, and then it can really cause some major issues. Jordan, what are you looking at? Would you like to answer some questions?
I mean, why not?
He looks bored. You guys asked Jordan some questions. He's bored. First impressions on the new motor on the Alumacraft.
I like it.
So this is the brand new 115 horsepower Evinrude G2 E-Tech.
It's nice. I like it a lot.
Jordan has been on it. We've ridden it a few times.
I drove it around.
He got to drive it around. So it's quiet. I haven't tested the gas mileage yet, so I can't tell you on that one. Yeah, it's
nice.
It's pretty nice. Josh, remember when you took the dive to full time? I haven't been able to follow it as close for the past 2 years. Yeah, Josh, man, life happens. Dude, when I took the dive to full time, that was the scariest thing I've ever done in my life. So 4 kids to feed, and a wife, and moving and buying a new house, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
It was whack.
Flukemastr, this is Stephen Wharf. My best childhood friend was Aaron Martins, and our home lake was Castaic. That's how I caught the 17-pounder. I believe it, dude. I totally believe it. And as you know, he's a great drop shot guy, so we mastered ultralight gear. You know who taught me how to fish a drop shot rod? Jordan, you know who taught me how to fish a drop shot?
No.
The guy that taught me how to fish a drop shot was Mike Buca, the same guy that makes the bullshad swim bait. And this was before he started making swim baits. Jordan, I'm going to scoot over since you're good. Watch your phone. I'll pull this closer so I can read. But yeah, it was Mike Buca, man. It's pretty awesome. Let's see. What is your opinion on line backing? I do it to save money on braid is what I'll do it. Other than that, I don't use it very much at all. So if I've got a big spool that I've got to put a spool of braid on. Oh. Let's see. Family Fish Killer says hi from California. Levi Howard, need to come to Pickwick and get on some ledge fish. Yes, I do. I got some ledges I want to hit on Pickwick that I haven't hit in years. Because of working kids, I just wanted to say thanks for all the great memories. That was supposed to be all together. 3 messages. That's okay, bro. Joseph Keller. Jordan, do you spool your own reels?
Yeah.
Unless he steals mine.
Yeah. Which is a lot.
Which is a lot. There are about 314,000 of us that are glad you took the dive. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Chuck. I appreciate it, man. That means a lot.
Who's better fishing, Jordan or Dad? I think, I don't know. It's...
You always say teach someone to fish with your experience. Do you still go to anyone in specific for knowledge? I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of watching videos. I still read a lot of the Bassmasters magazines, the old ones. But I just talk to everybody, really, and I learn a lot from everybody. Fishes different, and I learn a lot from everybody. So, Jordan, what's your go-to lure? Scott, that question's already been asked, but
chatterbait.
Yep, chatterbait. It's the same one you use, Scott. It's your go-to lure. Lipless crankbait versus deep diving crankbait. When to throw? What is more productive? Lipless is. I throw a lipless. I never have been productive with a lipless at the same time that a deep diver is. A deep diver is really good in the summer, fishing deep, of course. A lipless is good in spring, fall. I fish it most of the winter, except for when it gets really cold. In summertime, I just don't ever have that much luck with it. Any specific polarized tinted colors you use for sunglasses when fishing? Jordan, how many pairs of sunglasses do I have in my truck?
You got one sitting right here, one sitting right there, one hanging on the GoPro mount, one right there, and
that's
one sitting on
6.
There's a lot.
Yep. I have 6 different colors that I use depending on the amount of light that we have and the water clarity and that kind of stuff. I love the ones when you look through it, they got a little bit of green tint to them. I've got blue ones. I've got the yellow ones that I wore today because it was cloudy all day. Amber. It just depends. And I don't care what the front of them looks like. It's what it looks like when you're looking through the backside. That's the color I really pay attention to. So, Dave Lefebvre. Oh, Dave says stop yawning. You're making me sleepy. Just popped in to say, yo, keep up the great work, bro. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hey, dude, and I'm sorry for not dropping by your house while I was up in Erie. I literally was 20 minutes from your place and just couldn't stop. I was doing that old sponsorship thing, so I'll definitely hit you up next time I'm up there. Let's see. Jordan, does your dad ever let you drive the boat?
Yeah, a lot actually.
Yep. I think it's important to teach them how to drive the boat. Somewhere around 14, 15 years old, if they're responsible and if they listen, let them drive the boat.
Oh, yeah, I back it up and fall in every time.
Yeah, he puts it on the trailer for me, so. Scott, Thunder Chicken for the win. I just got my first jig fish yesterday. Yay! Biggest fish of the year for me. Thanks for all the tips. Yeah, dude, jigs are where it's at when you want to catch big fish. Jordan needs a bullseye. I got one in the truck. Actually, I got 2 in the truck for him. So.
What? Really? Wow, man.
You got to know how to use them first. You got to catch fish first. You can't hit that button until you catch a fish.
100 inches. 100 inches.
Anything big going to come out at ICAST this year? I can tell you that 13 Fishing. Jordan, you want to run out and get those baits out of my black pack?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. 13 Fishing's coming out with some. It'd be faster to go that way and run around.
Yeah, but it's right up here.
With some soft plastics, and I'm going to have Jordan grab a few of them and show you. Those I'm pretty excited about them because I've had a lot to do with the development of those soft plastics. They've listened to a lot of the suggestions I've made as they've sent me prototypes and drawings and things like that. So it's been a lot of fun. Those are the ones I know of. And YakAttack's coming out with something pretty big. At least that's what we're starting to work on. Hopefully we can get it done by ICAST. I can't tell you anything else other than that. Does the color clothes you wear while fishing make a difference in the fish being able to see you? In clear water, it can. Dave Lefebvre says you're welcome. Let's see. I'll give you a for instance. I was trout fishing one day, and I was fishing with a buddy of mine, and he was from where was he? He's from Idaho, so he thought he was the greatest trout fisherman since, since anybody. And so we went down this little bitty creek, and I had a green hat on, and he had a white hat on, and I caught 10 fish to his one. And when we got done fishing, I told him, I said, Trent, I said, I want you to switch hats with me. And we switched hats, and he went up the creek and came back down a little ways, and he caught 3 fish. And he was like, holy cow. So those trout were able to see you. So it all depends on the clarity of the water and how shallow the fish are. But your clothes can affect it, especially when you're bank fishing. So, what site or app do you use for saloon tables? I use, why can't I remember it? Bass Forecast is the one I use. So, all right. So here's a couple of them. Here's the one I wanted more than anything, and they listened to me, and we came out with this, and I know most of this was just my idea, and I didn't have anything else to do with the design. But this is like a swimming worm, or it can be a shaky head worm, but mainly a swimming worm, and one that you can throw on a Texas rig. Oops, let's get over here. So this is a black one, and of course it's got tons of different colors, but it has 2 swimming tails. Hold up, Jordan, I'm jumping them all over the place. It's got 2 little swimming tails, and they kick like crazy. And when I'm swimming through grass and cover like that with a little lightweight Texas rig, these things are awesome. And then another one is kind of a cut tail worm that I flip and I also swim. And this one is called, what's the name of that one?
I have no idea.
This is called the Ninja Worm is what this one's called, and it's got a little hook tail on it.
This is called the...
So, and literally today is the first day I can show you guys this because they started talking about them today on Instagram.
Oh, the joystick.
And so the double one is called the joystick. So,
Or the rabbit, I don't know.
or no, it's the rabbit ear tail is what it's called. Joystick is the color.
Oh.
But anyway, that's 2 of them, and I've got a whole bunch more upstairs. Swim baits, that kind of stuff, but it's... Yeah. But yeah, they're pretty awesome. I'm going to have Jordan put those back in there. So I'm pretty excited about that. They're going to be great. Are Whopper Ploppers worth the money? Yes.
Yes.
Can you do a video on your Torqeedo install? I guess I can. I can take it off and put it back on. So, have I ever fished Stone Mountain Lake? I haven't. Ryan fished Stone Mountain Lake all the time because he grew up right down the road from it. But unfortunately, he's no longer around for us to ask him about that. But Stone Mountain Lake, he loved to fish it. There's a spot way back in the back that he talked about all the time. In the middle of the day in Texas is about 90 degrees. What lure would you throw? I would throw myself home at 90 degrees. No. I don't know, dude. It just depends on how deep the fish are, really. So, all right, don't worry about all that. It's making too much noise. Gene, what is a good power of spinning rod you would recommend to get my girlfriend for her first rod, medium or medium heavy?
Medium.
That's hard. I'd get her a medium, like a 7-foot medium, or a 6'8" medium probably. 6'8" would be a little bit better because it'd be a little bit stiffer. And then just don't let her fish anything really heavy.
Switch to basic stuff.
When do those soft plastics hit the stores? Usually, it's they usually will hit the stores the following spring. But they're so far along with these right now, I'm guessing, and this is totally off, I'm pulling this one clear out of my butt. It's going to be fall is what I'm looking at. So at least some of them. But we'll see. They're pretty awesome though. Daryl Adams, need versus something. Anyway, I get a Lucky Tacklebox subscription, good for a beginner. Yeah, it's not bad. There's a new one out called Monster Bass, as I think is what it's called. And Alex Rudd is promoting it pretty hard. He's actually working for them, and it's got like premium baits. I don't know what the price is or anything else, but dude, that thing looks freaking awesome. Would it be beneficial to put a micro anchor power pole on a 1,500-pound boat? If so, would it hold the wind in the wind? I would call Power Pole and ask them. Is what I would. and you're not so much concerned about holding the wind because it will hold it in the wind. What I'm concerned about is when you put it down as the boat is moving, is the boat so heavy that it's going to break your power pole? And so they know what the pound ratings are for all that. So that's something I would look up on their website or ask them. So Stephen Worth says, you got me hooked on kayak fishing, Fluke. Thank you. That's awesome, man. Scott, I'm not going to try to butcher your last name, bro. It starts with a V. Do you, as an experienced fisherman, still have black electric tape on your bait casters to stop the backlash? No.
I used to have that.
Yeah, I used to put it on his all the time. But no.
That's like for beginners, like you can.
Yep.
For if you're trying to learn how to use it.
Yeah, I'm really good at picking out backlashes now. So when it happens to me, I just pull it out.
Don't
So
talk about it.
yeah, Jordan destroyed
Don't talk about
line
it.
on a reel
Don't
this
talk
week.
about it.
When is the 13 Fishing Flukemastr box coming out, dude? That's a good idea. I haven't thought about it. Swim jig trailers. Thanks for doing what you do. I've learned a lot in the past 3 years from you, Daniel. I'm gonna give you my secret, and this is actually something I learned from the one time I was on Kevin Van Dam's boat, and he had these little baits sitting down in the bottom, and I'm like, where are the stinking tails on that bait? And he said, this is what I did. So you take a Rage Menace, and you break one of the tails off, or one of the claws, whatever you want to call it. It's a twin tail grub is what it is, but you break one of them off, and then you put that one, you turn it to where you got the hook lined up with the tail going this way, and then the tail is on the bottom, and it has a nice little kick. That's my favorite swim jig trailer. So, yeah, the one time I was on Kevin Van Dam's boat. As a 6'10", 380-pound kayak fisherman looking at upgrading, would it be fine as an SS127? I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell everybody else, Levi. Go try one out at a demo day. And yes, I'm pretty sure you can do it, but 380, in my mind, being 6'10", 380 pounds, you might not be able to get in the high position in that seat without it being too tippy. That's what I'm thinking. So go try one out. Try the seat in the low position. Try the seat in the high position, and go for it, man. It's stable. It's super stable, but you may be putting a little bit too much weight so high because you're so tall. So, best lure to tie on for kids learning to fish.
Any finesse bait, like Ned rig.
Any small worm, really. And what I always tell is, you're not trying to get them to catch the biggest fish in the world. I like to just throw a hook under a bobber and throw on a cricket or a worm and say, let's go fishing. And the smallest fish is a trophy fish for a kid. So.
Shouldn't ask me some questions, guys. Come on.
Marcus says there's no backlash I can't fix. Tell everybody about the backlash you got this week.
No, we're not going to talk about it.
All right. I had to cut it out. I've never had to cut out backlash.
I got a little frustrated.
He got frustrated and started jerking on it, and so he messed it up even worse. What's a good rod action and reel ratio for a person on a budget? I mean, if you can only afford one rod and one reel, evaluate how you fish. Do you like to fish lures that are lighter? You like to fish a lot of crankbaits and spinner baits and that kind of stuff? Go with a medium action. If you like to fish Texas rigs and jigs, and bottom bouncing baits and Carolina rigs and that kind of stuff, go with a medium heavy action rod, power and action rod, and then a 7:3-to-1 gear ratio reel. So, and then stay within your budget, bro. Owen says,
What's up, Owen?
tell Jordan I said hey, and hey Gene. Hey Owen. So, hey, tell Owen the size fish you caught today.
Oh yeah, I caught about 5.5.
About a 5.5 pound, 21 3/4 inch bass. So Jordan is fishing his first kayak bass fishing KBF tournament. It's the state challenges.
Yeah.
And he just broke 100 inches. And he's in second place. Who's in first?
Shut up.
Who's in first, Jordan?
You are.
How many inches did Dad have, Jordan?
Too many.
I have 105.5 inches. So, swampland. All right, we're gonna jump off of here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I ran a few minutes longer than I normally do, but I really appreciate you jumping on there. If you have not subscribed, be sure you subscribe and hit the little bell But yeah, Jordan's kicking butt right now. My goal is to get him to finish second.
Excellent.
Yeah, if he can finish second this month, I'll be really, really excited. But I'm too competitive.
See, I want to finish first and qualify for the
Yep.
challenge championship, whatever.
But